Hello and welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot. I'm Miss Vicki, and I'm going to use the tarot to see if we can gain more insight into unsolved mysteries, deaths, and disappearances. Let's get started. Welcome to Crimes of the Heart Tarot. Today I want to do a reading on the energy around Bryan Kohberger. He's the 28-year-old man who was arrested allegedly for the murder of the four University of Idaho students. Now, there's no way that I'm saying he's guilty or innocent. He is going to have a trial, as far as I know, unless he pleads guilty. He hasn't entered a plea yet, but he claims to be innocent. But everyone has the right to a jury trial, and you're not guilty until you've been proven guilty. So I don't want any way this reading to be mistaken for that. All I want to do is do a reading on his energy, on what's going on in his mind. Who is he? Why? I don't know if we'll get answers to why, but just what kind of energy surrounds this man. All right, I'm going to use the Diablo the Sanctuary Tarot deck one more time. It's a really dark deck, but this was a really dark crime. So I'm just going to pull some cards and see what I see. And this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. That's just my interpretation of the cards. So I just want to see what kind of energy is around this man. I don't want to see if I can find out if he's guilty or innocent. That's not my job. That's not the right thing to do. But I just want to see what the energy is around him. See if we can get any clues to what he's thinking. If he is guilty, why? What kind of energy would surround someone like that to make them do that? So I'm just going to lay some cards down and see what I can see. All right, it was a terrible crime. This is a really dark deck too, but I think it's fitting. Oops, that's what goes here. And we'll just read the energy. See if we can find any clues to what's going on in this man's mind. He seems very calm. People that know him, and I don't know that he has close friends. He has people that have crossed his path as he was at school in Idaho, and I guess he's now a teaching aide and still studying for his master's at the time that he was arrested. His parents live in Pennsylvania. He had driven home, but it had been pre-planned. They had done that before. His father flies out and they drive back. All right, I just want to see what kind of energy is around him, if we can pick up anything. All right, the first card is the King of Pentacles. Now this is a really powerful king. He's of the earth. Pentacles can mean money. It can also mean power. The King of Pentacles has a lot of power. It can mean health. It can mean anything tangible. These cards are really graphic. Hopefully there's no problem with any of them. All right, the next card is the Page of Wands. Excuse me, the Page of Wands. This is a young person. Pages are young. Somebody with a lot of fire and energy and burning inside, wanting to do things, wanting to be in control. Wands can be fire. They can also mean, wands can also be a phallic symbol, but they're powerful. Now we have the Page of Cups, another page. All right, this is the Page of Cups. Cups are love. Cups are positive things. They're hopeful. They're good. A Page of Cups is a very good young person. It's also a student. He was a student for many years. He was still a student when he was arrested at the age of 28. And he was going for his master's degree. I think he was a student teacher, grading grades. I'm not sure exactly what was involved in that. And he was still studying toward that. This is a studious page, a young person. Also, it's love. It can be love, positive, heartfelt things. That's 2 pages. All right, then we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords, I hope you can see these. Four of Swords is a card of, it shows a warrior wanting a rest. It can show, some people believe it's a death card. It's actually, to me, it's more like going to rehab, going away and recuperating, withdrawing from society. Now he was, from all the people that have known him, and I don't know how truthful everything is, everybody comes out of the woodwork when there's something like this. He was kind of an odd person. This is alleged. I'm just going by what's been on the internet. Kind of a loner sometimes, awkward, almost reminds me of someone that's possibly Asperger's on the spectrum, they call it. Those types of people are wired differently. They don't fit in usually. They're kind of, people say they're odd. I kind of get that feeling about him. It's not an excuse, it's just the way his mind works. All right, then we have the Fool. All right, the Fool is a beginning card. This is someone who's embarking on a new journey, taking that first step, not looking, just having faith, a leap of faith in a new path, a new way of going. All right, then we have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a victory card. This is someone, these are really unusual cards. Someone who's been victorious, who feels like they have had a victory, and that they were triumphant in something. Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is someone holding on to money, to whatever they have, holding on to their possessions, holding on to everything. This can be greed. This can be someone going within, not letting other people in, holding on to their emotions. Pentacles can be of the earth, holding on to their, it could be mental health, holding on to their mental health. And then we have the Ace of Wands. All right, the Ace of Wands is a step, a beginning. It's a fire sign. It's also, again, a phallic sign. Wands are passion. This is the start of something new. He has 2 cards here, that the Fool and the Ace of Wands, that show that he was embarking on something new. This doesn't really tell me a lot about what he's thinking, though I do see a dual type of personality here. There is the Page of Wands. This is a really energetic fire sign, doing this, doing that, going with willpower into things. And then we have the Page of Cups. These are opposites. It's almost like he's, and I don't want to say a split personality because I'm not a psychiatrist, but it's like there's 2 ways of thinking with him. There's the fire, the passion, possibly the sex, dreaming, and then there's this studious Page of Cups, the loving, kind, wanting to do the right thing. These are two different mindsets. So if he did these murders, I feel like he was of two minds. I also feel like it was exhilarating for him. He felt on top of the world, total victory when he did this, if he did this. The cards are saying that he felt a major victory. He was amazingly excited, happy, King of Pentacles, King of the world, strongest man in the world, powerful, powerful. And yet we see the Four of Swords wanting to go away, wanting to go within. I get that he was fighting with himself, fighting with the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. They're two separate people. Page of Cups is a dreamer, a positive person. Page of Wands is an action person. I think he was at different times two different people. I'm not going. This is not a defense. Obviously, I'm not a psychiatrist. But there's two mindsets here. There's the loving, good son, doing the right thing. And this could stand also for going to school. This is his college, getting his degrees. He did amazing things with his education. I mean, it's not easy getting to the point that he got to when he was arrested. Going for a master's is not easy. And then we have, excuse me, then we have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands is just the opposite. He's full of fire, willing to do almost anything, on the ready, on the alert. Wands are action. There's two different mindsets here. I want to say he's two different people at different times. But I'm not going to claim to be a medical person. He felt a victory. The victory of when, I think when he did the murders, if he's guilty, it was a huge victory for him. It was a new path. I don't think he's ever done anything like this before. According to the cards, he started off on a new journey, and he wanted to be the King of Pentacles. This is really interesting. The King of Pentacles is feeling powerful. I don't know what he really thought inside, obviously. I get two different people at two different times, or two different people at the same time, trying to hang on. This card actually shows someone who feels like they're under attack in a way. It's a money card, but I don't think this is about money at all. This is about holding on to what you have, keeping to yourself, not letting anyone in. And that's kind of what his personality was like, according to friends. So what do we have so far? We just have, I feel two different mindsets here. I see him at one time retreating. This could be after the murders, if he did do the murders. He went back and regrouped, went back to his parents' home, thought about it, became the, I don't want to say good son, but reclaimed what he'd had before. He went back. Let's see what else I get. This is a tough read, to read like this without knowing the person. He's not sitting in front of me, which makes it harder. But I'm starting to see a little bit about him. And more will come out probably, as if he does go to trial, he can waive his trial. He can plead not guilty or guilty or whatever. All right, let's put that one over there. Put that one there. That one, I don't know if I can show that. All right. These are such dark cards. All right, what do we have now? We've got the Queen of Swords. This is a female. I'm not sure if I can show that. I'm going to kind of cover that up, cover her up. Queen of Swords. Well, the Queen of Swords is extremely scary. The Queen of Swords is someone with no feelings at all. It's interesting that it's a queen, and I don't think this is his mother. I think this stands for women in general. I'm getting women in general. It's almost like he was afraid of women. He saw them as monsters sometimes. All right, I'm going to put her over there for now. The Four of Cups. This is being dissatisfied with what you have. He was not totally happy. In fact, I think that cups are love. I know he did have, from what his friends have said, this is alleged, he did have drug problems at one time. He was overweight in high school, picked on, and allegedly he came into being a heroin addict. All alleged. We don't know if that's true. But he was very sad at one time. I think he still is. I think he's not happy inside, but he hides it. Then we have the Chariot. Here again, now we've got this powerful person driving the monsters. There's 3 of them there, controlling them. I think this was mainly about women. This card, the Queen of Swords in this card is just terribly scary. I think he wanted to control women. He was scared, I think, of women, afraid of women. That's what I'm getting from this card. Now the Chariot is a car, can also mean a car. He drove around, according to his phone records, and this is not hearsay, they tracked his phone back and forth, trying to control the situation. And he also changed the plates on his car, which I think he actually just did that because they were expired. I don't think that was a big conspiracy. But he was controlled. He was in control. All these 4 monsters. There's actually 4 of them. He wanted to control the monsters, and the monsters I see are women. Really scary women. Now I know he killed Ethan also, but I think he was just there. That's my opinion. All alleged. Next card we have is the Hierophant. All right, this usually is a religious person, an organization. It can mean the church. It can mean a group. You know, I'm getting a group of infamous serial killers. I think he envied them. I think that's what I'm getting really strong. He envied these Ted Bundys and John Wayne Gacy's and all these famous people that he studied. He studied them. In a way, I think they were his, sort of his I don't want to say mentors, but sort of somebody he wanted to be like, to control the women, but the scary, scary women. That's what I'm getting. He was afraid of women, I think. I think he was around women. I don't think he was like, I don't know if he ever had any girlfriends. I guess he did have friends. Then we have the King of Swords. All right, the King of Swords, another king. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords. King of Swords is a very, very cold person. King of Pentacles can be warmer and more gracious. King of Swords is somebody that has no heart, does not care. Look at this monster in this. There's a monster, get it where you can see it. A monster with a sword. He was the King of Swords. He was killing, I get he was killing the monsters. I think there was that about him. And I also think he kind of looked up to these. He studied serial killers. He was taking judicial classes. He wanted to be a police person. I remember he tried to be I guess you would call it a volunteer, but he was turned down. He wanted very much to be involved with the dark side of these people. I almost feel like he admired them. He admired these strong, king-like, no emotions, total control type people. And he made it happen. He wanted to be like them. Now, whether he wanted to be caught, that's something I'm not qualified to say. I don't see it in here. But I do see that he admired them, and he was very afraid of women. Women to him were monsters. This is not his mother. This is women in general. I think he saw them as, I want to say harpies. I don't know if you know what harpies are. We could look that up. So he was two minds. He's two people. I don't want to say split personality. I'm not going to try to psychoanalyze him. That's for the courts. That's for the lawyers. He may have to have a psychiatric evaluation. I know he's got a good lawyer now. All right. So what we're getting, what I'm getting, is two different ways of thinking: the loving, the kind, and then the full of fire monster. He saw great victory. He feels like he had a great victory doing that. He was the king for a while. I don't think he feels like the king anymore. All right, we'll pull a few more cards. Did he look up to these serial killers? Did he? I don't believe he wanted to be caught. I mean, obviously he did everything he could not to get caught, from what I can see of the evidence. He went home, he drove around, he tried to cover his identity with a mask. And it was dark, too, when he went in there. 4 o'clock, give or take. All right. There he is, 10 of Wands. Okay, this is, I almost feel like part of him knew. I'm not saying he knew he was going to get caught, but he wanted to go out in a blaze of glory. I almost feel like he wanted to be like the Bundys and the Gacy's and these infamous serial killers. They will live forever. He wanted to join their church, join their religion. And I think part of him knew if he did this, he might be caught. He might be burned at the stake. Part of him thought about that. He did everything he could, basically, not to be caught, but he wasn't that smart. Then we have the Justice card. All right, this is court. This is law. I mean, he was a criminal justice student. He knew the laws. He knew about killers and serial killers and people like that. He knew how the law worked. Maybe he thought he wouldn't be caught. I mean, it's not like he went out and did it and then just said, "Come and get me." He did try to cover his tracks. I think justice will be done in this case. If he did this, I don't believe he will get away with it. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. The evidence that I've seen online is just evidence for the court. It's fairly strong from what I read, but this is not the trial, and I'm not going to say, oh, the evidence shows he was guilty, and oh, he's going to get off, or whatever. That would be wrong to do that. But I do see justice. I see criminal justice, and I see justice for Bryan. And justice for the 4 people that were brutally murdered. They were innocent, totally innocent. They were for him. They were to make him feel like a king. And we have the King of Wands. Oh, we've got all the kings. The King of Wands. A few more cards, and then I just want to know if he... Okay, so far I think he's of 2 minds. I think what I want to call it is he had a shadow self, and he had a self that he showed to the world. And I think they fought. I think the Chariot shows that. I think that he had trouble controlling his shadow self. I don't see this so much as his car, though we know he left the area, but from what I understand, he had done that before. His father had driven out, or flown out before and driven with him. And he didn't leave right away. I think this just shows that this was him harnessing his demons. A few more cards, and then we'll close the circle. The Justice card is good to see. It's interesting what came up. All right. You've got the 8 of Pentacles. This is working, planning. He put a lot of time into this. A lot of thought, too. I think he knew the risks. I think he knew the pros and cons. I think he was compelled to do this by his inner demons, you can call it. Whatever you want to say. And then there was the Tower. He struck quickly. He planned this. I mean, obviously, this is my opinion. He planned it for a long time. He thought about this for a long, long time. I believe he stalked the girls. I don't know if he knew Bryan. I don't know if he knew her. I can't even think. I can't even talk. I don't know if he knew really who all was in the house. I think he stalked them. I think he did stalk them for a while. He may not have been sure who was in the house. But it was targeted at the women. I feel the women were targeted. It was fast, it happened. But he planned it. He planned it. And then we have the Death card. If he's guilty, and I'm saying if, I don't know. I think Idaho has a death penalty. I don't know what it is, but if he's guilty and they have evidence and prove him guilty, and he has to have a trial, he may just very well get the death penalty. I think that's about all I see. Six of Cups is just the next one. It's balancing things out. Paying back for your childhood. He had a sad childhood. He was teased a lot. That's not an excuse either. But it goes back. The black part of him goes back to childhood, at least to high school. All right. And what really surprises me, the card that surprises me the most, is the Queen of Swords. This is how I believe he sees women. They're scary. They're monsters. This is not his mother. I think this is women in general. Interesting. I didn't really expect the fear or him seeing them as monsters. Well, this has been interesting. I'm going to close the circle now. I don't know if it really helps, but opened up a few little things I had not thought about. The dual personality type thinking, dark side, light side, worshiping the serial killers. I feel like he really looked up to them, and women were, I think women were like harpies to him. All right, I'm going to close the circle. I hope you liked this reading. I hope it helped. Please subscribe, like, share, watch Afterlife Adventures with Amanda. She's amazing. And we'll see you next time. Bye.